Hello, good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing? Thank you for joining us today. Right, what are the pros and the cons of interracial marriage? Many people usually do not want to marry from another place, and especially a place like Nigeria where you have many tribes, more than 200 tribes, and you're having people who want to marry from their own tribe and they want to marry from their own state. Some want to marry from their own state, some want to marry from their own tribe. While others are saying they must come back to Nigeria to get married. So today's topic and today's conversations, the discussion we'll be having with our guests today is simple. We just want to have the opportunity of exploring some other marriages, and this time we are focusing on interracial marriages. I would say my friend Matthew Femi Adedoyi was the person that sparked this topic in my brain when we discussed here on the story of Ruth, about Ruth, the children of Naomi marrying foreigners, and Ruth willing to go back with Naomi to marry Boaz, a foreigner. And we're just thinking about the possibility of Nigerians in diaspora or other nationalities who are in Nigeria, other nationals are in Nigeria, considering marrying somebody from their locality. This is something I learned from my dad several years ago. I remember my dad saying something that is among the people that you live and the people you interact with on a daily basis that you should choose a wife from. Why should you choose a spouse from a place or from a people that you don't live with? Yes, they may be your, they may come from the same tribe with you, they may come from the same country with you, but they are not living with you. You cannot see them for yourself. You cannot know them for yourself. You can only know them based on what other people have said. So I grew up with that mindset as a teenager that whenever I wanted to get married, I should choose from the particular community where I lived, where I reside. And today, that's the amazing thing that is going to be happening today. We want to discuss, and I'm going to be discussing with three amazing couples. Right now, we already have two couples in the studio who will be talking with us. So first, I want to start with my friend Nike. No, let me not start with Nike. Let me start with MMG, right? MMG, you can mute yourself.
Okay.
Let me see.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I'm having I'm having MMG and her husband Luke. Please help me pronounce your surname. Is it McDonnell? McDonnell?
McDonnell.
Oh, great. The way I tell every other person in Nigeria that I'm unable to pronounce their names correctly, I usually say, I know the spelling, you know the pronunciation. So,
yeah.
So
Everyone
I cannot
gets it
thank
wrong
you.
anyway. They always think it's the restaurant. They always think it's McDonald's. It's not. It's McDonnell. Everyone gets it wrong.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much. Now your name is easier for me to, I could attempt it. So let me add our next couple, and I will not attempt the name. At least I will attempt. I will not attempt it. So I will attempt that of Nike, because, of course, it is not Nike. You know, like when you're thinking like, oh, is it Nike? And the rest are like, okay, no, no, no. That name is a Yoruba name, so it's Nike. And
Okay, yeah, okay.
thank you, Nike, for coming. Good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, we can. I can hear you loud and clear. So I
Is
will
there a
not
picture on
attempt
site?
pronouncing your husband's name. Help me out.
Iain.
I. It's
Okay.
not an L. It's not Lee. It's an I. It's Ian.
Yes, I know it is an I. However, it is an I that has an A interrupting the relationship between two I's. So I could not tell if the A was connected to the first I or it was connected to the second I.
The second eye.
And I told myself, no need. No need. So,
Ian.
okay, great. Iain. Okay. I'll
Can
try
you
everything
see us
possible
all
not.
right on the camera just to check?
Yeah, you're
Yes.
horizontal.
Okay, you're
All right.
horizontal. So what you do is that set it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice meeting you, Nika and Anne. I hope I got that correctly. And
No.
okay. So I remember when I shared the flyer earlier on, a friend said to me and said, "Oh, you know Nika?" I said, "No, I do not know her yet, but we are going to be meeting today. And I'm going to be meeting with her husband today. I'm so glad to meet the two of you. And I'm also glad to meet Luke. I've always known about you. Of course, your wife is loud. She's
Yeah,
a
I know
loud person.
that.
Yes. How she talks and how she, I still entered the kitchen store today and I checked around and I discovered that I said when we had our first baby, MMG sent my wife a gift from the UK through Abuja to my wife in Ibadan. And I said, okay, let me quickly have a second one. Maybe she will send the gift again. And I went there and I said, MMG did me strong thing. She she refused to acknowledge me and I felt cheated on. I told her that one day I'll get back for that on that, right? Because she had never met my wife. I was the person she knew, but all of a sudden my wife ended up stealing all my friends. All my friends. I don't have one again. So I told her that when she makes her own, I promise her I will take them. So, Mr. Luke, we have always known you through MMG. So let me start. What was it like for you, MMG? Let me start with MMG. What was it like for you to consider an interracial marriage?
For me, it was having Nigerian men telling me that I was
Hmm.
too strong-willed
Hmm.
and
You
that
were stubborn. They call it strong will.
that I was too strong-willed. And then it was a case of I'd actually not considered dating outside of Nigerians or even the black
Okay.
race. Then after
Okay.
I had my last heartbreak,
Yes.
I'd actually just um got into that place through therapy that I deserve to be happy no matter what. So I put myself out there, I put myself on the dating website.
Hmm.
Tried plenty of fish, it was completely useless.
Okay.
Then moved to Bumble
Hmm.
and then wasn't really getting a lot of matches. And then I remember it was Olabisi that said she made a comment or a post regarding online dating saying that if you want to get good matches, you will have to pay, like either buy one of those or one or two extras
Hmm.
that they have
Hmm.
on those websites to be able to actually
Hmm.
get serious people.
Yes.
And so that's what I did. And then that's when he came up on my Bumble page. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, okay, he looks quite handsome, not bad looking. But then he was not really answering me. But me, I was doing my own thing, going on dates. I literally started
Yeah.
rotational dating. I was
Mm.
having fine dining almost every week, having, just living my best life.
Sure.
And then we finally met. And then I was
Right.
like, oh, okay, he's actually quite nice. He's actually quite sweet. And he actually
Hmm.
did not believe me. I think maybe he thought I was scamming him or something. Because he's like, are you for real? Like, I'm like, oh, you're so nice. I really like you. Like,
Mm.
okay.
Wow.
So that's it in
That's
a
nice.
nutshell.
I think the first thing I got from there was the fact that you took the cancer that was offered, that if you want to meet great people, then you should use the platforms where you have to pay. right? Where you have to pay. It's still one of the things I tell myself that if I want to take something serious, or if I want to meet great people, then I should be willing to pay something.
Yeah.
And so if you're meeting people there, you also know that these people are sincerely invested in themselves and in their
Yeah.
life and in that particular thing. They are not just doing it because, oh, it is free, it is available, everyone
Mhm.
can just easily jump on it. And that's one thing that I picked from there. So Sir Luke, I would like to ask, what was it like for you?
Yeah, so it was similar really in terms of like dating websites. I tried a few. I tried Plenty of Fish. I tried Tinder, and I just wasn't getting anywhere with them. Like, there just seemed to be most of them just wanted to be like a pen pal
Mhm.
or not actually want to
Yes.
meet, or
Mhm.
and it was just a dragging out process. And literally on these sites, some of them, like say with free, they
Yes.
you get the same ones popping up, and
Mhm.
I remember this one woman, she messaged me on every single dating website, and every single time, I think her name was Leslie, and I said, no, I'm not interested. And then she'd make another account, follow me on another dating website. I'd be like, no, no, no. And then I messaged Mary, I noticed Mary on that, and I remember like I got to a point where I actually given up, and I gave dating websites.
Mhm.
Um, I put them on hold for about a month or so, and then I
Mhm.
remember one day I kind of went back on Bumble where I was talking to Mary, and I thought, well, actually, I was actually getting really along with this person, and I don't know why I stopped talking. I think it was the fact that I just got disheartened with dating websites that I just thought, no, I'm done. And then one day I went back and we got chatting, we exchanged numbers, and it just went from there. And yeah,
Wow.
it's been really positive. I haven't looked back since.
Wow, that's nice. That is good to know. And some days ago, you guys celebrated 6 months in marriage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations. So the journey has started. Let me talk to um Nick, the Andersons. Yes. At least
At least you can pronounce the
It
surname.
seems like that way.
yes,
Just call the
I
Andersons.
can. I can't because my grandfather was named Anderson, and
Ah.
so if you mention once you mention Anderson, the first thing everybody the first thing that will come to your mind is Captain Anderson, my grandpa, my maternal grandpa. So there's no way I cannot forget. I will always remember the moment I saw it, I attached it to my grandpa, and I like, oh, this is my grandpa. This is somebody that shares a name with my grandpa. You two, you have been married for a while now. You have been married for years because I do understand that you have kids.
Mhm.
Yes, we've
Yes.
got
So how
two.
many?
We have a 9-year-old
Wow.
son and a 3-year-old daughter.
A 3-year-old
Wow.
tyrant.
Mhm. 3-year-old diva.
MMG must be her mentor, right? I, right. I looked at my kids today and I was like, who told me to have two again? Who told me to have two? And some people are telling me,
I often wonder, do we still have the receipts? We can take them back.
and the biggest challenge is usually the second born.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Oh
Absolutely.
yeah.
I have one in my house. He has all the energy. We can't even match him. What we just do is that we are trying to cope and adapt to him. We have noticed that he's more energetic. He has a mind of his own. He's stronger than us. So we are not trying to oppose it or win. We are just trying to win him over. Like, please, this is a family. Please, you are not the head. You get it. You don't call all the shots. And one day, my wife told someone that if Keenland had come first, we would have stopped.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, we can relate. Yes. Yeah.
And said if he had come first, we would have stopped. There's no way. She said she would have had phobia for children. And you need to understand where my wife is speaking from. She owns a crèche. She's an early years educator. She owns a crèche. She has been working with babies since 2012, thereabout. And she's saying that if this one had come first, she would have resigned. So I understand what it means if you tell me that she's a tyrant. Even if I don't have another example out there, we have MMG here, so we can all relate. We can all relate. So I'd like to ask, what was it like for you? And this is the part about it. This is where I want to take the question from. First, you were open to this. You became open to an interracial marriage. What was it like for you presenting that to your family, that you wanted to marry an Oyibo?
Oh, well, when I told my mom, so when Ian and I
Yes.
started dating, I didn't tell her because, well, we're just dating. So
Weren't sure if it's going to go anywhere.
exactly. But when he proposed and I said yes,
Yeah.
I thought, well, I have to tell my mother now because so
Has to tell her something.
I called her and I
Mm.
just, it was funny. I called her, I said, Mom, where are you? She's like, I'm at home. I said, are you sitting? She said, yes. Why are you asking? I said, because I have to tell you something. I said, no, if you're sitting, Mom. And I said, like, just tell me, what is it? And I said, um, I've seen someone
Yeah.
is white and
Mhm.
is asked me to marry him. And I said, yes. And so I just said it like that, like not just like that. I've seen
Mhm.
someone, da da da, and then
Okay.
there was silence for like 5 seconds, and then she went, "Do you love him?" And I said, "Yes." And then she said, "Are you sure he loves you?" And I said, "Yes." And then she said, "Okay, that's fine."
Wow.
I'm so like, Mom.
And that was it. That was it.
Wow. 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 So what was it like for you, Mr. Anderson? Mr. I. Anderson. I'll be using the initials.
Oh, the
I
best
can
way to
never get
try and
it wrong.
pronounce Ian's name is try and
Yeah.
pronounce the letter Eein.
Okay.
Ian.
In.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
great.
Eeyin was better. Ian. Ian. So if you think
In.
Eeyin, you get it.
Okay. Awesome. Wow.
It's
In.
like no.
Hmm.
Okay.
So
I'm
what
like,
was it like?
my,
It was like telling me. Well, obviously Nika was in the UK, so introducing her to my family was easier because they were here.
Mhm.
Um, it was just my dad. My mum had passed away some years before Nika and I met.
Mhm.
Um, but I remember my dad had his peg before I did. He'd had an accident and was recovering in hospital. And I was visiting him and said, I'm going to go meet this person who's new at church. You know, she's from Nigeria. She told Nikki, going to go for coffee and so on. His first response was, oh, might this possibly be a girlfriend for you? Which my response was, no, no, Dad. She's just new. I'm just saying hello. I'm just, introducing her to the church. Yeah, no, I was head over heels by this point. I just didn't want to miss it.
Okay.
So my dad had us down before I did.
Mhm.
Um, and I know Nikki, bless her, was very nervous about meeting him for the first time,
Sure.
coming from obviously Yoruba background.
Mm.
But I think within 30 seconds, you and he were the best of friends, and now
Oh yeah, we
you
get
you
on
you are you
really well.
you know he probably likes you more than he does me.
We get on really, really well.
So thankfully there wasn't any difficulty. Like I say, my dad had us figured before I did.
Mm.
And Ian's sister is
Mhm.
like my BFF.
Yeah,
We're very close as well.
he and
So
sis are very close.
there's
Wow. Wow.
bonus
That's
sister.
nice. Well, I like that. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that because what your marriages tell us out there And there's also another couple that will join later, right? That is Nigeria, Ghana. And if you hear about Nigeria, Ghana, you think that we are neighbors, but we are not neighbors. You think that we are twins, kids, but we are not. We growing up, I was surprised to realize that we have two countries between Nigeria and Ghana. I could not relate because we are always fighting, we're always competing against each other, and at the same time we are the best of friends. So that's another couple that will join us. And the reason why I'm happy and excited about your marriages is the fact that we are having people who are open to consider people not from their culture, not from their territory, not from their nationality. I was talking with MMG backstage before we came on live, before we came live, that I'm a therapist, I'm a counseling psychologist, and at the same time, I'm a lawyer. And right now, in recent time, for about 2 years, I'll be trying to focus on family law, since I'm also a trained and licensed counselor and therapist. I should be able to also help people better with legal matters, because you see people who consult me for counseling, and at the end of the day, I notice that what they need is legal service. And I'm also able to give them the proper family legal advice, family law counsel on that particular matter. So I decided to say, okay, let me just narrow down this particular thing and see how much I can understand this field of law better to help people. And I noticed one big problem. And the big problem is that most of the marriages that I'm doing, I'm handling their divorce. Most of the Nigerians that I'm handling their divorce that are in diaspora, the problem is that they were not friends with their partner before they got married. Like Nika has said, like MMG has said, there's this connection. You two, you were friends for a while. It was also easy for your family to accept. I would say easy compared to some other families, and that may be because of the perception your family had of you even before you ever started dating. They were sure of your choices, they were sure of your decisions, they were sure of the life you were already living. So if you said, oh, I like this particular person, they will judge that person based on your maturity, based on your discipline, and based on how you have been able to lead your life all the years to that point, right? So we are beginning to have issues of many Nigerians in diaspora who, rather than pick someone from their community, from their church, from their environment, they want to come back to Nigeria to pick a spouse. And now, most of the people in Nigeria are now using, yes, there are different reasons why we marry, and I agree. Some marry for companionship, some marry for love, some marry for economic security, some marry for sexual pleasure and satisfaction. There are many reasons why people choose to marry. What I usually tell them is that no matter your reason for wanting to get married, ensure you give that marriage the 100% to make it work. I don't want to care what is the primary reason for marrying, but no matter what is the reason, like, okay, maybe because he loved kids, or maybe because she loved kids, right? That was very important to me. Like, I wanted to be sure that whosoever I was marrying would love kids. It's not like I wanted to have a football team, but I just wanted to ensure that the person would love kids, right? And there are many Nigerians right now, not just Nigeria, also in other countries, who just want to marry a foreigner because they want to use that person as a platform to relocate out of the country. And I do not have a problem with that. I don't. As long as by the time you get married to this person, you give that marriage the 100%. But we are coming to find situations from different races, whether I'm talking with Asians, I'm reviewing material from Asia or from Europe or from the Middle East, wherever it may be. We are beginning to find some people who are not willing to give it that energy. And so I started asking myself, for example, if you, Nike, you've already been there, and MMG, you're already living there, you already have a life there, you already have businesses, a job, a business that you do, you are doing cleaning services, also childcare, and the rest. I'm like, why should this person be killing herself, or why should this guy be killing himself and insisting that he must come back to Nigeria to find a wife, or come back to Nigeria to find a husband, right? If you're already living with these people and you can live with them, that's just the truth. If you can live with them, then you can marry them. If you can work with them, if you can work for them, if you can do your business around them, if you can worship with them, for those who are Christians or for those who are Muslims, if you can do these things with them, then you can also marry them. Don't bother coming back home. Some people may hate me because of this. And that's because of the problems. Yes, that's because of the problems we are beginning to find. If you already have somebody in Nigeria before you left, I can understand. But if you are there, don't come back. Don't even try to look for them online. Don't. I'm serious. I'm serious. Because I'm attending to interracial couples from the UK, from the US, from different countries as their counselor, either as their counselor or as their therapist, or I'm doing it as their lawyer, right? And I'm seeing some things. I'm like, there's no need. There's no need. Stay where you are and choose somebody from there. And that will lead me to my next question. And I want to ask this MMG this question. What was it like blending the cultures? I'm not in an interracial marriage. I'm in an intertribal marriage. Like, I am Edo, Isan, and my wife is Steve Benway, right? When we got married, there were some things we could not get easily. And you will notice it from MMG. Sorry, I'm putting her on the spot because it's payback. 3 years ago, I promised her I'm going to pay her back. So it is payback time. So now, when my wife visited the Edo State for the first time, the first thing she said is that you guys are always shouting. Like, you people are loud. You talk as though you guys are quarreling. We don't know when you are quarreling or when you are nice. Like, you are always shouting, you're always doing like you are rude or you are arrogant. And the one that was most embarrassing was that we got to a town and there was somebody that was evangelizing, and it was with violence. Like, this person was preaching, and the person was preaching with so much violence. There was this so much energy and force. Like, if you don't give your life to Jesus Christ, if you don't, and my wife was like, this is bad. This is very bad for this thing to be happening. It was that loud for her. The shock for me was something different. Was that when we got married, I felt that my wife was giving people our food. That's how I felt. Because she comes from Steve Benway, the food basket of the nation, and they have this culture that when somebody visits you, you must give the person food. So whenever somebody visited, my wife must not give the person from the one that is remaining. Like, she prepares a meal for the person. And sometimes she prepares a meal and she calls my single friends, or she calls some of my friends that, oh, I prepared so and so, come over and pick yours. And I'm like, I did not say that the food was too much for us now. Like, so no, it was not so easy. It took us a while to blend those cultures, to blend the orientation, to blend the understanding, right? So I'm working with interracial couples. I still worked with one. That one is two. Okay, right now I have two that I'm working with. One of the partners American, the other Nigeria. Two different couples like that, and the issues just have to be with the fact that they did not understand each other's culture from the beginning regarding things like in-laws,
Yep.
regarding regarding things like what respect is,
Yep.
right? Especially when you're dealing with now you're not just dealing with the race, you're also dealing with the
Culture.
sex and with the gender,
Hmm.
right? The
Oh, I've got
definition it is.
stories on that
We've
front.
got stories.
Yep.
Oh my word! When we first got together,
Ooh,
oh,
there were sparks
so,
of the good kind
so
and the bad kind.
yes, I'll come to Ian and Nike. So, but let me first start with MMG, Mercy Grace. What was it like? Before
What?
I'll talk to Luke because I want to know how Luke was
Yeah.
able, out of all the guests in this world, he decided to choose you, and
What?
he was not afraid that you will beat him up, or or
This
one day you will lock him
papa.
in.
I'm out, Captain.
so,
Funny
so
enough,
MMG.
we're discussing that with my friend we went out to dinner with.
Mm,
So the first thing for me was I realized that we came from a culture where people address the older folks by their name. The first thing I said to him was, one, my mom is not Nene to you, she's Mrs. Abali. And
she's
then
mama.
my friend's mom, who we all call grandma, I said, that's what you also call her. We call her grandma. He goes,
Mhm.
but she's not my grandma. I said, it's a cultural thing. Don't worry, you understand later.
Yes.
And I explained to him that it was a way to prevent people being disrespectful to
Sure.
elders. That's why we did it that way.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean if you call them by their name, but I know my mom is a bit old school Nigerian.
Mhm.
And so I said, okay, let's keep it this way because I do not want one day my mother will be in a bad mood that you call her by her name. And then they will come and she will not meet him, it's me she will come and meet.
They will call family
That
meeting.
that I'm allowing him call her by her name, bloody
Mm.
bloody. So from the very beginning, I just said this is how it would be, and I made sure that I
Sure.
did the same thing with his dad. His dad found it weird at first. Oh, call me Chris. I'm like, no, it's Mr. C. Now I call him dad,
Mhm.
and he found it weird at first too because my friend's children, I have about six godchildren. Instantly, everybody started calling him Uncle Luke. His
Yes.
friends' kids don't even call him uncle. They call him by his name, Luke.
Mhm.
And then my friends also allowed him to be an authority figure in their lives
Yes.
because of I told you from the beginning that I come as a package deal. I have
Sure.
three godsons and now plus one more. I have five goddaughters.
Wow.
So
Gotcha.
actually no, four godsons actually one I gave birth to one this year. So four godsons, four goddaughters. So we come as a package deal.
I only do goddaughters. I don't do
So we,
godsons. My father has 6 sons and I have two, so I'm tired. I only do goddaughters.
so I said to him, we come as a package deal.
Mhm.
And at first it was shocking to him because whenever he was around the kids,
Mm.
they were drawn to him because Luke has a very chilled vibe. And
Mhm.
as much as he claims he can be strict, I put the word claims
Mhm.
because his strictness only comes when it's extreme cases that they've done something
Mhm.
extreme. And that even me, I go like, we're being strict today. Oh, okay. And then he will then keep telling me how he can be strict, how he can be firm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We know it happens once in a blue moon. So when it happens, please let us know. So he actually loved that part of our culture, of that communal parenting, that communal upbringing.
Mhm.
And my friends really welcomed him with open hands. I
Yeah.
remember that for his birthday, outside of his family,
Yes.
he's never really gotten thoughtful, substantial gifts.
Okay.
Every birthday since we've been together, my friends have always spoiled him with gifts. He
Sure.
always looks forward to his birthdays because of my friends. And it's not like they're getting him like 200 pound gifts, 300 pound gifts, but very thoughtful gifts. Like
You can have it
last
twice a
year,
year if you choose to.
Like last year, a friend, two friends of mine, one of them bought him shirts, and he had been thinking of buying shirts, and it was like Jack and Willie shirts. Another one bought him socks, and because they know Luke is a foodie, she bought him this pack of socks that had different foods on it,
Wow.
and Xbox gift card. And another one got him this beautiful mug for beer drinking, and he was just in his elements because he was not expecting anything. And so now it's like he looks forward to his birthday because of these three sets of friends of mine that always spoil him for his birthday.
Wow.
And for on his side, his friends actually, a lot of them, actually two of them got used to me. But the other ones, because of their friendship, was what I would call surface friendship. Ian, please forgive me for this statement I'm about to make. But a lot of white folks do superficial friendships. It is in the pub, we are drinking, just talking about the football match, the weather, how our boss is an asshole, and it stops there. It
Very
doesn't go
surface level.
past that. It
Yeah.
doesn't go about what's your goals for next year. Oh, I'm about to apply for this job and I'm happy for you. Hey, what's your plan? What are you doing? I'm about to buy a house. When will you people buy your own house? None of that. And then I come into his life and I'm used to my friends. We're all lifting each other or pulling each other. And I'm like, why are you where you are? Because two things Luke has is he has the gift of discernment and he has wisdom. Like the two times I did listen to him, I actually got scammed. One out of £250, and the second one, I almost lost my 15-year bank account.
Yeah, I remember that case.
So his spirit of discernment is upon, but then I'm around friends that only just lean on him for, oh, when Luke is good for when we want a shoulder to cry on, when we've had a shitty day, or when we want to come and bitch about somebody else to him. But then everybody else is climbing and going up, and nobody's asking, why are you where you are? Why are you chilling where you are? And I did hide my displeasure. And there was one particular friend that tried to gaslight him, and I gave it to her very nice and politely. I told Luke what I had done after I had done it.
MMG, nice and politely. Okay.
It's
I
important.
believe you.
It's
I
not
I
overblown.
believe you. I believe you.
So
I believe you. Yeah.
so I no, I gave it to her because I'm like, you gaslighted this man repeatedly, and you're making it look like as if he's done something wrong, he's done nothing wrong. And she couldn't respond to me, so she now sent her partner to
Mhm.
respond to me.
Oh,
Then I
okay.
pissed off Luke, and he now cut her off completely. Then everybody else was now acting like as if suddenly Luke did not have liver anymore, because my friends Ella and Noah said that he's like he's gum body, because Luke
Mm.
loves my companies. Like if I'm sitting in the bedroom, he can be in the living room for an hour, I'll be like, oh babe, I'm so sorry, I've not asked her, are you fine? Are you okay?
Mm.
And to be honest, me, I'm not even thinking of him.
Yeah.
So, and his friends could not understand it because I am devoted to him just the way I'm devoted to my friends. Like, and with him is like
Yeah.
double of what my friends get. And so
True.
because of that, he returns it back. Luke is very, very loyal, and he's also very loyal to my own friends too.
Yeah.
When me and my friends are at loggerheads, Luke is the
Mm.
Switzerland between me and them. He doesn't take any sides. He will still smile, give them up, and he did one. Are you talking to this person yet? No, just that I've not seen them for a while, and you guys have been friends for so long, 5 years. Make sure you're making the effort to talk. And I'm like, I am. He said, no, no, no. I'm just saying.
Mhm.
So he's that there was a lot of learnings and unlearnings from both our sides. From his side, his dad brought them up in a very old English manner, where
Mhm.
Luke believes children should respect their mothers, they should
Mhm.
not back chat,
Mhm.
dialogue, don't argue, because
Mhm.
Luke doesn't like to argue. Oh, he can argue, he can dialogue like a lawyer, but the moment you're
Mhm.
doing back and forth argument, you've lost Luke. He
Mhm.
will literally just shut down after a while. If it's not
Right.
dialogue, he's not doing.
And that's the
And that
kind
has
of person
taught
that fits
me,
you. Yeah.
It's how straight your face is when you say that, L, for me. Straight,
I,
delivered very straight face.
I know my friend.
So yeah, so it's been a big learning and unlearning for both of us. It has.
So, Mr. Luke, what has it been like for you marrying this Nigerian babe? Like you've met many women in this world. You've come in contact with over the years. You must have met women from different cultures, different ethnicity, different countries. Those from your country, those from your home. But you decided to choose this one. What was it like? Oh,
Because I couldn't say
no.
no, I couldn't get a word in edgeways. No, it's I think it's because we complement each other well.
Mhm.
She gets my sense of humour, even though she rolls her eyes at times. Um, but yeah, and I think we've just got the same values, even though we're from different parts of the different parts of the world. The fundamentals are still the same. We still have the we still have the same beliefs and thoughts and how things should be done.
How was it?
Uh,
Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. How was it adapting to that that role you were not familiar with, right? You were used to being just a child, just a brother to your siblings, maybe just a child to your parents, a brother to your siblings, and a friend to your friends. And right now you're dating someone who the moment you start dating them, not even marrying, the moment you start dating Nigeria, you automatically become an uncle to every person that you
well,
are older
yeah,
than. Once
it
you are
was it
older
was
than the person and the person is connected to your spouse, you automatically become an uncle, right? Once the person is far younger, no, not just far younger, you automatically become a husband if their mother is a widow, right? So
I
you
was
become a husband also to their mother. If she happens to be the first daughter or she happens to be the first child of the family, you automatically become the father
To do it.
of that family. And so to you it could have been like, oh, I was just dating a girl, I just wanted to be a husband, how come I am automatically an uncle, a husband to extra people? What was it like for you?
it was an adjustment, but the thing is that with Mary, she's like say she's as subtle as a brick. So it was like if you're on the edge of a cliff, she'll just like
Mhm.
push you right into the deep end. So it was like kind of like okay, I've got to deal with it. And to be honest, like all the close friends and family have become like a family to me because it was like they made me feel so welcome. So
Mhm.
even though it felt I ain't gonna lie, it felt a little bit weird when I woke up one morning and found out I've got 57 nephews. I was like, oh, this is a bit new. But yeah, no, I think I adjusted to it quite well. And the other thing I felt was which was quite powerful and good. Like a lot of my friends are godfathers or godmothers and that sort of thing. But in terms of my friendship, sometimes that's more like a trophy than an actual responsibility.
Okay.
And when I seen Mary the way she is with the godchildren, that she'll discipline them, she'll teach them, she'll take responsibility, she'll
Mm.
help out the family when say if the mother's at work and she needs to babysit.
Mhm.
It was like a responsibility. I mean, don't get me wrong, she enjoys it, but it was much more than just the title. They actually did
True.
it, and I found that more meaningful. Is where it's like, okay, this this does mean something. This is they're taking an active role in their friendship. It's not like a lot of friendships will just be let's go out for a drink or let's have a gossip on the friend on the phone. Sorry, this is more like a constant involvement, which I found really good.
Alex.
Okay, okay, that's great. I like that. I like the fact that you were also flexible. You know, for someone like me who is a Christian, there's one part of scripture that is very interesting to me. It says, and God decided to make for Adam um, a partner who was flexible and adaptable to him. Right. So when I wanted to get married, that was the first thing I asked myself: how flexible and adaptable am I to this person that I want to marry? And the good thing about it is that in neuroscience, we have what we call neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to learn new things, to continuously learn new things. And many people today just tell you, this is who I am. You have to take me like that. Like you were never like this. You created this. You created this. In fact, this is not the person your parents raised. Your parents are shocked, right? This is not the person you you created this. And if you want to change it, if you wanted to change it right now, you can change it if you want to. And that's why people usually come up in divorce. We usually say irreconcilable differences. And I posted something today that irreconcilable differences, they are not universal, they are not general, they are just peculiar to your marriage. You are the ones that have created that difference to be irreconcilable, right? And I like the fact that there's that flexibility of your mind to accept yourself, accept your cultures, accept the reality of this is the person that I choose. So I will not go to Nika this time. Let me start with they said if I want to pronounce your name, I should pronounce Eeyne. In.
Well done.
Great. So I would like to start with you, sir. What was it like for you blending into her culture? Because when you met her, it was just this babe, it was just this lady, it was just this girl. But the time came, because of the relationship, you became exposed to her family, you became exposed to her culture. You were no longer somebody who was just relating from the outside. You are now in the midst of all this and all the Nigeria drama, right? No matter how civil we are, we have that drama. We is a special. We are like you will call it chilies. We call it pepper.
Mhm.
We are that special spice that makes everything hot, right? So what was it like for you to blend into this reality of Nika?
Um, it was a challenge at times. I won't lie. Um, I think having had time to think about it over the years, I think the best way to describe it is in like European countries and so on, you marry individuals. What I've noticed is that
Wow.
in Nigeria, it's more like you marry entire families. If that's
True.
a better way of describing it.
True.
And that was an adjustment.
Wow.
I remember, was it Uncle Walter actually? Um, well, Nika's uncle
One of
phoned
one of my uncles.
one of Uncle's phones to see
Okay.
how she was doing, and he wanted to speak to me. So, okay, fine, phone,
Mhm.
hello, how are you, and so on. And he asked me, "How are you treating my daughter?" Now, I can be very, very literal. So I was a bit puzzled. I thought, wait, I thought you were her uncle, not her dad. I was quite taken aback. I didn't quite know how to handle it until I realized, that for all intents and purposes, one family is one family.
Sure.
And so that took a bit of time to really get used to and get around. I think another thing, I think Nike will probably agree with me on this, is I think in Nigerian families, there's very set idea of what roles each person should play, very set idea of gender roles and so on. And we both came with different views on that in marriage, and that often caused quite a bit of friction. Um, you know, I do all the cooking, simply because I enjoy cooking. It's a big deal for me. But I know Nika's mom was. Well, your mom was somebody else. Was quite shocked you don't cook.
Everybody.
Everyone was. You don't cook for your husband. What's wrong with you? And another thing is, for a while I was with I had various periods of unemployment I had to deal with, and so for the longest part, Nika was the main source of income in the marriage. The family didn't bother me at all. That didn't bother either of us. So was all there for the family. So where it comes from is not important. But I know some people would have been potentially quite uncomfortable with that, perhaps even in Europe as well. And so it was a big adjustment. I think other practices, well, I mean,
Okay.
I think over time, as I got familiar with it and began to understand myself better and got to know my new family better as well, we found a way to make it work. There were some big bumps in the road along the way, some big ones.
Yeah.
That took a lot of time and hard work to resolve. But it was really quite worthwhile. We both learned a lot about ourselves and about each other in sorting those bumps out. And I think it has made for a far stronger marriage, a much more understanding marriage than it was before.
Let me, if I chip in a bit, just to give an example of
Yes,
this
I
cultural.
want you to chip in a bit, and I want to add something to your
To my
question, so that
question.
you could, yes, so you can answer together.
Okay.
What is it like raising a raising interracial kids?
Mixed with kids.
Good
Your
question.
kids, your multicultural, right?
Multicultural.
And
Well, this
Cross-cultural.
I'll answer that. I will, so I don't forget to chip in, and I wanted to chip in for Ian.
yes,
When we first got married,
yes,
I was, as a child, it was role model. My mom cooked. My dad,
Mhm.
my dad was even very rubbish. He never entered the kitchen in terms of cooking. He just didn't enter the kitchen because he didn't know how to. He didn't have the skills to. But watching it, I realized that my dad didn't know how to cook, so he never cooked. And so in my head, all I had to do was not learn how to cook. And that would solve the problem. I would never cook. And it used to drive my mom mad. Her constant, as a teenager, she used to be like, no man will marry you. You don't know how to cook. No man will marry you. And I used to be like, I would earn money and I would pay someone to cook for me. I don't need to. And I used to always be. And then when Ian and I first got married, everything she used to whisper in my ear came back. And so I used to try and force myself. And I hated cooking and I hated the process. But Ian loved cooking. And he would be like, why are you?
I'm good at it.
And he's really good at it. And he'll be like, why are
yeah,
you suffering? I can do it. And I'm like, but I'm the wife. I'm supposed to do it. That's what's supposed to be. And it took a while for me to just break all those preconceptions that I had about marriage and just make up our own rules. So what are you good at? What am I good at? Let's work with that. Everything else, we shut it out. Let's work
For
with our
example,
strengths.
if we take this idea of the man's ahead and so on, with finances and money, I am the absolute
What?
worst.
We will live on the streets.
Okay, we would have the world's most fantastically stocked library, but we'd live in a cardboard box.
You know, use our money to buy books. That's all we will do. Buy books with all our money.
Yeah, I am absolutely appalling with money, and I will freely admit that Mika is fantastic about it.
Um,
And so we found, again, it's like an unlearning expectations and finding, okay, I'm good in one part, you're good in the other part, and together we can make our whole family function
yeah,
well.
just focus on us.
Which brings us to raising kids.
Oh, yes. So So I've got a 9-year-old, and when Daniel was
I
about
think I was going to focus more on Daniel because right now Rebecca,
Rebecca's
I
she's too
I
young.
feel right now Rebecca's still at the stage where Daddy could scoop her up in his arms and make all the bad things go away. It's Daniel who is now.
No, but when he was younger, let's even talk, when he was much
Okay.
younger, he asked the question once. He asked about the skin color.
Oh yes.
So he had friends in school. My friends' kids, where
Yeah.
mother, father, children were all the same color. So either they were all
Yes.
black or they were all white.
Mhm.
So and he felt well. He asked him. I think it was about 4, 5. He must have just started primary school.
Yeah.
And so he asked. He said, "How can we be a family if we're all different colors? Because people in school are all the same colors. That are families." So, and he was mentioning people. So Jason and his brother and his mother and his father all same colors, blah blah blah. So he was calling names. And I said, well, mommy is black, that is white. Together we made you, and you're a combination of both
Mhm.
of us. And that's why
Mhm.
we're a family.
Mm.
And as a child, they just take things easy. So he just went,
Okay.
okay. so so
I
they
remember for a while he was going, Mummy's black, Daddy's white, therefore I'm brown.
yeah.
And interestingly, Rebecca said something similar the other day.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, so he's also challenged certain things. So he will ask sometimes that why you called black because your skin color isn't black. So he said things like
Mhm.
that.
yeah,
And why is daddy
Mhm.
white? Because his skin color isn't really white.
he
It's
started to
not.
learn his
So
people.
it's all those kind of questions he would ask. One of my biggest worries, especially raising him
MMG, are you
today
taking notes?
in a in a
Predominantly.
predominantly white culture, has always been
Mhm.
that he would get probably be a victim of racism,
Mm.
or he would
Mhm.
probably feel a bit intimidated, or I don't know, a bit less because
Yeah,
there was not enough representation of his people of his own
yeah.
tone. And
I also remember, excuse me, I recently read a book on,
this was my question, by the way, sir. You answered your question.
yes, I have a valid point. Thank you.
As long as the question gets answered, I do not care who answers it.
Yes, but if Nikki doesn't get enough attention, she starts to pout.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so I read something, I was talking to Daniel on the back of a book I'd read about race relations to women. And I want to have this conversation with you. What does it mean to you to be British and black, and and try and get some idea of where he was and what he thought. And he actually said to me, I want to represent my black half. And he also stopped his song. But I'm also white as well. So it's interesting. It seemed interesting to me that he didn't see any need to differentiate. He saw himself as both equally,
Both white and black.
not kind of it's true. The world will always see it as
Sure.
black.
No, wait, you see that's not true. The Western world will
will see
always
him
see him
as
in black.
black.
The African world will
White.
always see him as white.
Yeah,
So it's such an
very true.
interesting dynamic because when we went to Nigeria, and Daniel has been to Nigeria twice now. It's like one he was a baby, about 10 months old, and another when it was just 2 turning 3.
Oh, he's only been twice.
Twice. And it was like, Oyibo baby, Oyibo baby, Oyibo baby, oh, Oyibo boy. So he was like
Mhm.
called white.
Yeah.
But here he will be identified as black. And so it's
As
that
black.
is
Yeah.
that thing. So all I try to do is instill in him a lot of self-confidence.
Yeah.
And I allow him. So I said
And
to
he
him,
is an incredibly confident
oh,
and a very compassionate and insightful boy.
I
we allow him
I
to come
read
to us
about
with
it.
any questions.
Yeah.
So any
I
questions at
encourage him to
all,
come to us with questions.
come. Anybody says anything into school, I
Yeah.
tell him to challenge people as well. I say sometimes it's
Mhm.
ignorance. So if someone makes a comment that doesn't sit well with you, don't just accept
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Challenge it.
Sure.
And if there's going to be a problem, come talk to me.
Sure.
Mama Bear will take care of it. So, so he's pushing back on certain things like as well. So he was here on the school bus today. He said the other day on the school bus, someone was singing a song about um
Oh,
knickers.
knickers. Yeah.
And
Well,
he thought the person was singing a song about knickers
silly schoolboy song about pants and all the
and
nonsense
pants.
that schoolboys sing.
But he said to me that he thought the person was saying the N word.
And he felt
And he said he felt a bit uncomfortable when he had the person
it should also point
singing the song.
this is because at one point over Xbox, somebody did
Say the N word, yeah.
started giving racist abuse over Xbox. He was quite.
A friend of his on
taken
Xbox, he was playing with his Xbox and his friend, and the friend called him, used the N word. And I remember he was really upset by it, and he blocked the person and all.
And that was one thing that came up in this conversation I had with him, is that, you know, I thought words only have the power we allow them to have. But I completely understand that, you know, because of this memory, and because of this experience, you'll always have the sensation that it's, oh, okay. So, yes, there are challenges. Yes, there are things you may have to face. But we have always tried to encourage inquisitiveness, freedom. Come and talk to us, ask us about absolutely anything. Always encouraged him to be interested in both sides of his heritage. I remember when he was first born, I was very keen that we have a traditional Yoruba
naming ceremony.
And years ago I said, well, my brother, he doesn't need that. And I said, well, maybe not, but it's part of his inheritance. I want to have a
because the poor boy now has like 7 names. He knows all of them. Well, I'm like, you can't put them anyway. You can't put them in passports. It's too long.
They're all on his birth certificate.
But all registered in his birth certificate.
Same with Rebecca.
How was that like for you? When people had to, sorry to cut you, how was that like for you? When, because in Nigeria, the moment you have a child, everyone that feels a connection with you or the mother says a name. So how was it like for you? Like, this is supposed to be my child. Why is everybody sending a name and they are wanting the name to be mentioned? What was it like?
I think we kind of just decided, okay, only a few very closest family members.
We chose the people that we wanted.
We invited them with the name.
Because I didn't also want every. I know I come from a very big family as well, and I come from an intertribal. So my mom is Ijo, my father's Yoruba, my grandmother's Calabar. So I come from a very intertribal. So I think there's openness of other people's cultures.
You don't come from anywhere, ma'am. Without due respect, ma'am, you did not come from anywhere, ma'am.
Oh no, I say I'm the true Nigerian. I am the original Nigerian.
Correct.
My cousins are from the north. My sister is married to an Igbo man. I'm the true Nigerian. Nobody else can out Nigerian. Well, there you see, covered everywhere. But there's something I wanted to just also share, talking about culture. Like Iain and I when we first got married, my mom and I got into a fight over the phone. I can't remember what we're talking about. But after the call, I was upset. I was crying. I was emotional about it.
Very upset.
And Iain saw me emotional, and he knew I'd just gotten off the phone to my mom. This man picked up his phone, called my mother to interrogate her on why she had the audacity to make his wife cry. Now, I was crying. I didn't realize what he was doing. I just heard him talking to somebody on the phone. And I realized that the somebody was my mother. The tears cleared from my eyes. The way I changed it for him. He was shocked that I was angry at him because he felt, I'm defending you. Don't defend me with my mother. Who are you? About my mother.
Yeah. Oops.
That was a quick learning curve for Iain.
Never made that mistake twice.
Yeah, look learned that very early on, that me and my siblings, because my dad is late, so it's me and my sisters and my mom.
Like me.
The first major fight that happened between us, Luke knew very early on not to get involved. Instead, he was doing Switzerland from afar. And when my sister tried to get him involved, like I said, he's a diplomat. I'm the bull in the China shop. I own it. He very diplomatically was able to tell my sister that he did not agree with her, but he could see where his wife was coming from, and he understood where she was coming from. But then all of us should talk to each other without him being involved.
Wow.
Well done, Luke. Well done.
Wow. That is nice. I don't want to take all of your evening. I understand that Mercy Grace and Luke, you guys were out a while ago. You just came in, and of course, Deanda, since you need to have your evening to yourself after putting your kids to bed, so it would be wrong for me to take all of your evening, especially with the reality that tomorrow is a working day, right? So we'll still have to work tomorrow. We'll still have to go to work tomorrow. And so I would not
Can
want
I
to
just
take
say
all of.
something in response to something you said earlier? The thought occurred to me. You were talking about
Okay.
interracial relationships and marriages and how sometimes
Yes.
people don't put all their efforts into it. And someone at work
Yes.
recent, I got the pictures of both my kids on my lap computer, home screen, home desktop, and she saw the pictures and she said, she's Nigerian, she's white. So that's how she's Nigerian, she's black, she's Nigerian, she's white. There's no white Nigerian. She's Nigerian, she's black. She came and she was like, oh, hello. She turned out to be Yoruba. I was like, ah, Tosin, hello, hello. I'm Nike, blah, blah, blah. And then she was, oh, those your kids? I said, yes. And she said, oh, so their father is white? I said, yes. She said, are you still married to their father? I said, yes. And she said, well, I ask because most of the people I see are divorced from their white spouses, and so it makes her a bit wary now of even opening. And she's a young girl, and she's like opening herself up to the white men in her vicinity. And I said to her, I said, see, I think some of it is the perception. So for you now, you already have a perception that the white men are all wrong. You will all end in divorce, which means that any potential person that comes your way, you're going to view them through those lenses. So even if the relationship was to start off, you're already seeing the end of the relationship before it even starts. And if you're seeing the end of it before it starts, then there's no hope. You're not going to want to put your all into it because in your head you're already thinking it's going to end. Why am I investing on myself when it's going to end? And if you're entering it with that mentality, then it's game over. And I think that's some of the problem is all the perceptions people have. People hear all kinds of crazy stuff about white men, white women, and vice versa. And then they now enter this relationship with those ideas and those and just that I think that just ruins everything. I just thought I was
Very,
going to say that when you
very,
mentioned
very
it earlier
true.
because I had a chat with the
Exactly what
lady and I
Nika said is why my dad, when he first sent us abroad, my dad actually sent us as his daughters. The one thing we should never come back with is telling we are getting married to a white man. And I think that is what subconsciously gave me that mental block that I never looked at relationships with a white person and, didn't do anything to make myself attracted towards that. It wasn't until I received bad clothes left, right, and center that I said, you know what, opening up my horizons.
Your heart had to suffer for it first, right? I, I, I understand that. I understand that. The good thing about it is that I'm saying this to Ian and Luke. It's not just about you people. If you guys were Nigerians, you would have faced the same thing. Because also in Nigeria here, we are having people say, oh, you cannot marry from that tribe. You cannot marry from that tribe. You must marry somebody from your tribe. You must marry somebody from your state. So you keep on hearing things like that. You get to hear people saying, things like, okay, what language you people be speaking now in your house that you're married? We get to hear that in Nigeria. So in my house, Pidgin English is our official language. So don't ask what language are we going to be speaking. Pidgin English is our official language. So there's no need. It's we all speak it, right? So
yeah.
that's it. But I don't want to take all of your evening. So I just want to ask one more question so that I allow you go. And before I ask that question, there was something Nike said regarding your kids. They are neither white in the UK. Can you still hear me? It's like I'm breaking.
No.
You're fine.
Okay, great. In the UK, they are not regarded as whites, they are regarded as blacks. But when your son visited Nigeria, he was regarded as white, right? I remember the first time I read about that because my dad had a German pen pal when he was young. So we still have the photograph in our house till today. So and he was open to interracial marriage at that time, growing up in Edo State. So yes, growing up as kids, although we grew up in the village, yes, we grew up in the village. I'm a pure village boy. My dad was able to expose us to Western life and Western civilization early. the different cultures. So I read lots of magazines from the UK, although I was growing up in the village. Right. I it opened my mind. And one of the things I have always known over time that children suffered, especially children of either they are migrants or interracial marriages, is the fact that they are neither this nor that. So they get to suffer on both ends. And it takes a lot of intentionality for you to help them realize that they are special. You understand it now? It's like if somebody should learn the Yoruba English in the UK and the person comes to Nigeria and the person is speaking that Yoruba, everybody's going to be looking at this person like, what are you speaking? Is it the same Yoruba that we know? Right? Is it right? But meanwhile, if the person is speaking it here, they are like, oh man, this person is speaking Yoruba. This Yoruba is let me use Nigeria English. This Yoruba conk. But there's nothing conk about it if the Yoruba crosses,
Yeah.
right? So it could I I do not envy you people. I know the work people have to do.
Yeah.
More grace. So I would like to ask this last question. What would be your counsel to people who want to consider interracial marriage? People, especially to Nigerians who have received basbos, like my friend with the gray hair. Sorry, look, look out. So, so people that have received basbos, what will you say to them? Because this I'm actually targeting African audience with this YouTube,
Yeah.
and especially Africans who are migrating right now. It's a migration season. It's a migration season, right?
Yeah.
What would you like to say to them? That what would be your words to them regarding finding love?
For me, I will start with make sure, like Luke said, we have the same fundamental values and and principles. If you know you're a Christian, don't say because you think age is not on your side, blah blah blah, you will
Mm,
really settle for an 80s. Meanwhile, your desire is to have somebody that you can pray with, that you can fast
mm,
with, and things like that.
mm,
Don't settle
mm,
because throughout when I was on Bumble, my settings was someone that's a Christian or open to learning about Christianity. Now, Luke grew up in a Christian home, but he was never a Christian. His dad was Jehovah's Witness. He's from the Church of England. It was no man's land.
mm,
When I first met him, he had only started going to Church of England before we met. But then I started teaching him about prayers and, talking to God. I didn't even go into the, oh, you need to give your life to Christ and all of that. We've never even crossed that bridge. But Luke is at a place where Luke can pray for 10 minutes in English better than I can. I can't pray for 5 minutes in English before I have to switch to the spirit because, as in, I just get lost. But Luke can pray about everything, every one of our friends' problems, and the ones that we know, the ones we discussed about in the day, all of
mm,
them, he will talk about it, he will pray about it. Last week, for the first time in his life, we actually both had a fast as a couple because we're like, things were just being stressful for both of us, financially, work. So he said, look, we're fasting for 7 days. And I was like, okay. In my mind, I'm like, "Why you said yes?" Because the first time I suggested fasting, he was like, he doesn't know how to do fasting, but we should talk about it later on. And when he said okay
mm,
for the 7 days, I was like, oh. And what helped him with the fasting was the fact that where he works as a manager, he had like 3 or 4 Muslim employees. And during
mm,
this last Ramadan, he saw the way that they were very serious with their fasting and they are very
mhm,
open and sharing why they do their fast. And I think that gave him a bit of an understanding. And another thing he does, he's very respectful of my Christian relationship. Like I remember just before I had my operation, um, there was this pastor I was praying with then. I was really scared for that operation, and she said to me, "Oh, I think that I was good after my last meal with Luke that night. That when I come home at 11, I should call her." when we were out for the meal, next thing I saw, look was clock watching. I was like, babe, it's you need to get back home like, before 11 so that you could actually pray with Pastor. I was like, oh, me had actually forgotten. Me that I was supposed to be the one that actually remembered to pray. But he was conscious of that. And sometimes where NSPPD comes on and I'm praying, and sometimes I'll be praying, be like, oh babe, please, be like, oh sorry, I didn't realize you're praying. So because there's an incident that happened when I used to child mind that I saw with a friend, and I said, this will never be me. Her husband used to be a pastor of all this PU when they were in university and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I saw it with my own eyes. She came down one day and she was praying while he was watching TV. He was lying on the sofa. She was kneeling down with her head resting on his leg. And he was just flipping the channel and still watching TV like he was nothing. But we look, I'll be like, look at them to say amen. I'll be like, babe, I need us to pray right now about something. If he's on the phone, immediately he'll be like, oh, sorry, I couldn't touch the phone. And he'll be, amen, amen, amen. And that response, that respect, and yet he's never been a silly pastor or anything like that, but that regard and reverence for when I'm praying or for when I'm listening to a Bible message or listening to a spiritual podcast, that reverence and respect is there. And it's said to me because of his dad was very, very big on praying and, having his quiet time and not letting him be disturbed. He took that reverence and make sure he gives it to anybody who is having a religious or spiritual moment. So if that is your desire, whether you're Muslim, whether you're a traditional worshiper, whatever it is you believe in, do not settle for an atheist if you want to be with somebody who shares the same religious values as you. Even if it's Catholicism you believe in, whatever it is, because you will regret it. You may say he's kind, you may say he's good, he's loving, he ticks all your boxes, but the day you need that spiritual encouragement, you won't have him there.
Yeah. Mm.
There was a time I was having really terrible bad dreams, and Luke woke me up one day. Was like, I said, he was laughing about it. I said, look, it's not funny. When next I'm having a bad dream, when you wake me up, don't say I cover you with the blood of Jesus. I reject any negative dream. And ever since then, anytime I'm dreaming and it sounds like it's something negative, you pray over me, cover me with the blood of Jesus, reject anything negative, and wake me up. Sometimes you wake up, I will not know he's waking up, I will just stop the but he remembers to always pray over me with the blood of Jesus and speak rejection over anything negative. If I had settled for somebody that is an atheist, the person will not be willing to do that. So
True.
don't settle.
Thank you. So let me go to Nika before I come back to Luke and then to Ian.
I think for me, it's just I'll probably the same advice I gave the young lady in my office would probably the same thing I would say about losing those preconceptions and not letting them be the driving force in your relationship. Just open yourself up. Go experience it for yourself. They always talk Nigerian Lagos. I'm a Lagos girl. Yoruba demons, Yoruba demons. They are everywhere. So if you're going to be don't go and say because they say white people are XYZ. I don't some of the rumors, some of the things they are even rumored about it. They're just rubbish. Some of them are rubbish. One of the things someone said to me was like, when I said to them when we got engaged, someone came to my private message to say, you want to marry a white man. I heard a smell. I was like, Victoria Aloro, where is this all coming from? And I know what what is that? It's go experience for yourself. For me, I always wanted to be with someone that understood me, that also made me laugh. And Ian has always made me laugh. He can be very silly. And sometimes I roll. When you were talking about rolling your eyes earlier, Luke, I laughed because I'm constantly rolling my eyes. Are like bunching, rolling.
As I like to say, behind every successful man, there's a woman rolling her eyes.
um, And I just wanted, because I wanted to have a happy home. My mom and dad used had very good banter when we were growing up. Great banter. One of the things full of laughter. My dad
Yeah.
would tease and say, "Oh, he's going to marry another wife." My mom would say, "Please, please, please, marry quick. We need a house help in this house. Someone needs to take care of the things." Right? I'm like, you see, I'm supposed to be feeling intimidated. I'm saying, intimidated what? Marry, marry, please. And I liked the banter. And they would involve us kids, we would all laugh. And so it was important for me to have someone that had a good sense of humor, that would was all about laughter and just and that got me as well. And when I found that in the end, it was amazing. And it's also friendship. So when you even start from a place of friendship, because I'm gonna be honest, when Ian and I were friends, I didn't think we were going to date. I wasn't even thinking of marriage at that point. I'd come out of a relationship not too long after that, and I was in my all men are scum stage. So I was not ready to. I wasn't even thinking. So in my head, it was just a good church friend.
That means you're a retired feminist.
I, no,
Nothing retired
I'm
about
still
it.
a feminist. I have, I am still a
Don't be
feminist.
retired here. No, no, no.
No, so, so I think it's just that find what is important to you, and then open yourself to it. Don't allow the preconceptions of others, because sometimes it's other people's experiences and other people's thoughts that run in your head, and that just influences what you then choose to do. So get rid of all of that, and just make your own rules and pave your own way. And that's what I'll say.
Thank you so much. I hope the single people they are listening and they are hearing, because unfortunately I'm already married, so I cannot take this counsel. So I hope those who need this counsel, you are not joking with it. Like there's usually something that I say and I tell people, and I'm telling those who are watching right now before I come to Luke and Ian, is the fact that it is free, you're getting the counsel free, you're getting the information free, does not mean that it is cheap, right? Because now we are hearing people talk to us from their personal experiences, from the things that they have, the way John says it in the episodes of John. It says there are things that we have seen, we have touched, we have handled. These are things that they are experiencing. These are things that they have walked through, they are walking through, and they are also seeing in other people. If you're single right now and you are outside your home country, once again, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Don't be like MMG. They don't have to play your heart. They don't have to play your heart. They don't have to do your heart strong things before you think about the people around you. Love is all around you. Stop looking for love in Nigeria. Stop. Stop. Even those of us, all the men in Nigeria, they are looking for wives. Wives are scarce in Nigeria here. In Nigeria, wives are scarce. We have plenty girls, but we don't have plenty wives. Husbands are scarce. Let me use Nigeria education. Husbands scarce for this country. So the small ones wey we get, make una no come carry am comot, please. Where you are, find love there. So Mr. Luke, what counsel will you give to those who are watching this right now? What will be your final counsel to them?
I think it just be open your eyes up to new experiences. Because like I've got a lot of mates that are single, but it's kind of like almost like people sleep while they're awake. You know, they'll go to the same places, they'll try the same methods, and it'd be like if you keep doing the same thing, the results are never going to change. You know, I'm not saying it'll never change, but the likelihood is it's not going to do. So I always say to my friends, like, well, try, just like, for example, I'm from it's originally from Birmingham, I'm from Shropshire, and I would say, well, don't date within Shropshire. If you're not finding people within that area, go to a different area. Because it's too far to travel. I'm like, but you'll waste 30 to 40 pounds on a night out trying to meet someone somewhere, and you're just going to end up with that disappointment. You've got to try and experience new things, and I think this is why took this relationship quite good because I've always been willing to try new things. Like I want to explore. I like to eat in the same restaurant every night. I like to go somewhere new. So that's what I would just explain to everybody else. Just you live your life, you live it to the best you can, and you have to try new experiences. Otherwise, you get on out of life.
Mhm.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And finally, I want to end with Mr. Anderson in I got it right. It was it it took me I'm checking the time. It took me about 1 hour 25 minutes for me to be able to learn that name that much. And I I should I deserve to be celebrated. MMG clap for me because Nika has clapped for me already.
You
I
did
saw you.
well.
You did not
For
celebrate.
our
Yeah, please,
traditional
please
wedding,
clap for him on my behalf.
for our
No,
traditional
see,
wedding
he's
in
clapping for you on
Lagos,
my behalf.
Iain
He's
was
clapping for you
called
on my behalf.
Lane all through.
Oh no, oh no.
Lane. In short,
I
people
saw
even
it.
printed souvenirs and it was
Lane.
Nike marries Lane. I think, who is Lane? Because who did I did not marry Lane. It's Ian I
Wow,
married,
wow.
not Lane. So you tried.
Um, as for
I paid attention to the name a lot. Interesting, I did. I paid attention. I looked at it. I said, "This is not lowercase. This is not a small letter, the way we say it in Nigeria. So the it's not a small letter, so it cannot be L. So it must the person who wrote this. I paid attention to the form. I went through everything. I was like, this person is diligent. Use upper cases, capital letter in the places where capital letters are supposed to be. So I don't think this is a small letter. This must
It's
be a
not a
capital letter, and the capital letter that looks like this must be I. But I told myself, I promised myself I was not going to pronounce it. I wanted to request that you send me a voice note pronouncing it, but I told myself that it would be more embarrassing if you sent me a voice note and I still came live and could not pronounce it properly. So I told myself there was no there was no need. So, but yes, I am glad I am good now. Um, so,
you did
Mr.
well.
Anderson, what would be your final words, sir, to us, sir?
My final thoughts. I would say it isn't so much interracial that causes friction, it's cross cultural. And it doesn't need to be the same color. There will always be different cultures, regardless of where you come from, what your skin color might be. It's the cultural differences that can cause the difficulties. I think that's what we've found more than anything. What I would advise is be willing to learn
Mhm,
and look for potential partner who's also willing to learn.
mhm,
Um, as everyone else said, yes, find first of all find someone who shares your core values, things that are most important to you. So there's no
sure.
conflict. So you're not unequally yoked. This kind of thing. But be willing to learn. Be willing to say, okay, I might not understand this. We might get it wrong.
Mhm,
That
mhm,
doesn't mean it's the end of the line. Let's try and
sure,
find a way through this and try and find a common ground. Yes,
sure,
there will be bumps, as there were for us, but then every relationship will have that. If a relationship
sure.
is important and worthwhile, it will take work,
Mhm,
regardless of race, creed, color,
Yeah.
culture. It will always take work. Where there is big cultural differences, as it often is in people of different races,
mhm,
it will take more work than some others might. But so long as you're
mhm,
patient, you're forgiving, and you're both willing to learn,
sure.
you're in with a chance. Not a guarantee, but a chance. I'd say that would be my final answer.
Um, Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, MMG, for helping me um, make this happen. Let me start from my friend. She has been an amazing friend. We sometimes do code war. Like she can be saying one thing and I'll be saying the opposite side of it. But people will not know that we are having code war. It's usually on Facebook. So MMG can just be attacking these people today, and me, I'll just be attacking the opposite. But we'll never cross our paths. We'll always ensure we don't comment on each
I will
other.
call you a femme pax. So half feminist, half patriarchal. So femme pax.
You know, my father has 6 boys and I have 2 boys. I feel I have the responsibility to protect me masculinity and manhood. All true. I just feel that I have that responsibility to do that. Why? Because we are having many organizations, we are having many government agencies, many individuals who are doing things for women, and we don't have those doing things for men. So
Mm,
I want to ensure that I need to protect that. You are enjoying your marriage today because you have strong men who are safe and they are strong in their masculinity, right? They are playing the role of father, husband, uncle, right? And we are having a masculinity problem today because I keep asking myself, the girls that we are giving birth to today, who are the men they are going to get married to? They are just, because it's like men we are having women in male bodies out there. When I mean women in male bodies out there, I'm not talking about the trans people. No, I'm not talking about the LGBT community. I'm talking about the fact that we are no longer having men who women can trust, who women can rely on, who women can expect to be committed and loyal to family values, to marriage, and the rest. I'm very glad that I have people like you now in my life, because if I have, by the time receiving couples who need help with interracial marriages, people who say, ah, can I find people that are already doing that I can talk to? Because sometimes some people just want to talk to people like them and not therapists and not counselors. Like I want to talk to somebody who is also in an interracial marriage, who is dealing with this reality. I have you people to refer them to. I have you people to recommend. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Thank you so much for
Very well.
sharing with us. I
most welcome.
appreciate it. I'm very grateful. I promise you that I will reward this love that people have extended to me by having you put back on the show some other time. E- um, even even the Bible says that to the faithful servant you give more work, right? So since you guys have been so nice to me with this, I will reward you again. My friend says if they invite you more than once, it means that the first time you came, they loved you, right? If not, they will not have called you back. So I love you guys. I will call you back again. I will disturb your nights. Thank you so much, and thank you, and thank you everyone who has been part of this today. Thank you. My name is Earl, and I'm all right, and from the city of Ibadan. Thank you, and good
Good night,
night. For
guys.
those for those who are watching the replay of this, yes, please, you can have beautiful interracial marriages. Don't come back to Nigeria. I'm warning you now. Don't come back. Don't come back. Leave our men and women for us. Leave them. Find somebody from where you are. Love that person. Love that. Love is not in your tribe. Love and faithfulness and good marriage does not rest in your race. It does not rest in your tribe. It rests in humanity. So find somebody that is a human being around you. Open your heart to love. And when they are trying to love you, receive it. Receive it. Don't be stubborn. Don't close your heart to love. Open it and receive it. And I know you are afraid that your family will not support. I know you are afraid that your parents will not support. You love first. When you get to that bridge, call all of us. We'll go and beg your father. We'll go and beg your mother on your behalf. Don't worry. Thank you so much. and, and good night.